Late at night when all the world is sleeping, I stay up and think of you. Welcome back, everybody. Episode 87. This is, well, I'm just going to come out and say this is the second time I've done this because the first time I did it, for some weird reason, my mic wasn't working. And I recorded the whole thing and there was no audio. So, boom, dumb me. But let's do it over again. Have a good time doing it. Before I even say or talk about anything, come on, man, hit that like, hit that subscribe, tell a friend, go follow all my other stuff, Twitch, here in YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, all that stuff, right? And it's all under the same name now. ItsMEGAberz. So, you can see it down there in the descriptions. Go check it all out and go give it a follow, give it a like, and all that good stuff. With all of that out of the way, I also once again I have Spider Gabe here with me. Say what's up, Spider Gabe.
What up, everybody? What's going on? Welcome to the show. Let's do this. Hey, yay.
I'm an idiot. I'm sorry. But yeah. Check out this dope ass shirt that I just got. I bought it for myself for my birthday, as a birthday gift to myself. And it barely came in like yesterday. And this episode was supposed to go up yesterday, but it didn't. But still, though, I'm still hype about the shirt. I still love the shirt. I did a TikTok on the shirt. A lot of people have seen it. A lot of people have liked it. I want to thank all you guys. I think it's like 100 and something views on Instagram and 40 something views on TikTok and all that good stuff. But I need more followers on TikTok. Let's get into TikTok a little bit, man. So I tried to stay away from TikTok for so long, just because I was just like, not another thing that I gotta do and keep up with and stuff like that. But because I was streaming on Twitch, all my friends were telling me like, you gotta do TikTok because it'll help out on Twitch and stuff like that. So I'm like, oh well, all right, let's do it. And now that I've started it, and it's crazy because I just so long staying away from it. Now I'm kind of like addicted to it. It's so freaking weird. I don't know. I don't know what it is. Like the crazy thing is that it's a freaking app that only gives you like 3 minutes or less of like footage. But for some weird reason, you're like you'll start scrolling through it and then 2 hours go by. It's the weirdest freaking app out there. Like it's so freaking strange, and I don't know. It's crazy because you're just scrolling, watching nonsense. I mean, a lot of it is like stuff that you're like into because I'm into, Call of Duty and gaming and stuff like that. So I see a lot of Call of Duty plays and game, and so I take a lot of that stuff and I kind of just like try to mold it into the stuff that I do too. But then there's all these other weird things like short bit comedies. A lot of people stealing other people's comedies and doing their own video on it, and I don't know, like it's so strange. Like there's this lady who does these skits, and she does it with a big head. Come to find out that the skits that she is doing is actually someone else's skit that they've done already, and then she's just taking the vocals and redoing it herself. It's- and the thing is, I like watched all of them. I mean, I can't, I gotta admit it, I watched all of them. It's freaking ridiculous. But yeah, TikTok. But I mean, I'm new to it. I'm new to the game. I'm only got like 50 followers, 50 something followers or something like that, um and they do trick you on the first few posts because they like set you up with all these views and stuff. So you're like, oh my god, my two first videos got so many views. But nah, that ain't real. Those aren't real. Because like, yeah, I put out some more videos. Some of them, up to like 100 and something views or so, whatnot. But like, yeah, the latest few videos, like I'm barely breaking 100. So like, but the homie has he has some clips and he's been on there for a while though. But um, dude, he million views or something like that. I forgot what it was. I don't know if it was a million, but it was like up there. It was a high count of views. I'm just like, dang, I need me a clip to go viral like that because that'd be amazing. Um, but other than that, yeah, I mean, those are my new things. I'm also I have a Redbubble and I'm keeping it, even though like I'm not really making anything off of it. I did get one sell. I did make one sell, and it was to someone in the freaking Netherlands, which is crazy. A shout out to whoever bought my um, Justice for Eddie T-shirt out in the Netherlands. Thank you very much. So I did make one sell, but I'm using it kind of like a tool because I'm doing a series on TikTok called designing with me, basically. So whatever I do as design on uh that those clips on TikTok, I throw onto my Redbubble, and they're basically for sale. So if you ever see any of that stuff on my Redbubble, or if you ever see that stuff on my TikTok, know that it'll be on my Redbubble, and you can go there and buy it if you like it and stuff like that. I got one coming out pretty soon. I'm doing a thing called um, I'm trying out a new method called non-design, which is basically a design that's basically no rules. You do the design with no rules. And the only thing is my OCD kind of like, breaks the rules a little bit, but then again, the rules is no rules, so I'm not really breaking any rules. So it's so fucking weird, but yeah, that's what's going down on that side of the end of my life spectrum and stuff like that. I got a lot of things going, I got a lot of things moving, keeping myself busy basically because the worst thing for me is to have nothing to do. So, as long as I'm doing something, I feel fine. I feel normal. Considering all the crazy bullshit that's happened in my life lately and everything like that, this whole last year has been a weight on my shoulder, but staying busy has been um, keeping me sane, basically. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But with that all out of the way, this might be a kind of short episode. I'm thinking maybe it'll probably end up being like a 30-minute episode or something like that because we're only going to do two topics. I'm doing two different reviews. Also, before I even get into the reviews, just know I'm going to do spoilers. So if you guys haven't seen the third season of Umbrella Academy and if you haven't seen Thor Love and Thunder, I'm going to do Umbrella Academy first. So if you haven't seen that, click off or and then I'm gonna do Thor Love and Thunder at the end. So if you haven't seen that, click off at the end. But come for the ride. If you guys have already seen it, um, I'm just gonna. The thing is I'm gonna say a lot of things that happen. I'm not gonna go through everything because I don't want to really talk about everything. But I'm gonna say stuff that's gonna be kind of spoilery. So just know that and keep that in mind. But yeah, with that all set and said, let's get into Umbrella Academy Season 3. Yeah. Now, Season 1 and 2 of Umbrella Academy was really, really good. Like, amazing. Season 1 took me a little bit to get into. I gotta say, I had to watch season 1 twice. Well, actually, not really twice. I had to start watching it twice. The first time I started watching it, I somehow lost interest somewhere close to the middle, and I started watching a different show, and I got stuck watching that other show and did not finish watching the first season of Umbrella Academy. Then I came back to it way, way later and finished it, and I was like, "Oh my god, that was actually pretty good." So season one, you kind of have to get through the slump of the first half, and I believe it was like right in the middle of the season was when it picked up and got really, really good and interesting, and like keep you like engaged and kept you wanting more and wanting to know more. And that was when like all the characters came to life for me. So season 1, get past the first part of it and it will be amazing. And I don't know if I've done reviews on 1 and 2 yet. I believe I did. I think I did a review on 2. Don't remember the score I gave it, but I'm going to give it new scores now because we're doing season 3. Season 1, I want to give an 8. It was like up there, really really good. Just not as great. Season 2 though. Season 2 was amazing. Because I had just got done with season 1, so I was already drawn into the world. I wanted to know more. I wanted to see what happened. I was glued to the characters. They were had me interested, and I was into it. I was into the storyline and everything like that, and I was invested. So season 2 was way, way, way higher up in the spectrum of the show. Season 2, I want to give a 9.5. It was almost perfect. I don't remember what it was that kind of like pegged it down that half point, but it just wasn't perfect, but it was near perfect. Um Now, let's get into season 3. Season 3, like I said, this show was kind of like a roller coaster going up, you know? Like it was ramping up because 1 was okay, 2 was amazing, and then 3, I was already in there, so I was ready for the drop, and it dropped. It was good, but we're gonna kind of like start. I'm gonna kind of do this a little bit different because I'm gonna start from what it was that lost me, and that was the end of the last episode of the season. The end of the last episode of the season threw me off. Like it had me confused. I don't know what it was, but it didn't satisfy me. Only because the whole season was just amazing from beginning to end. They had me like they made me love a scene where they did choreographed dancing. And usually when I see that in other shows, I'm just like kind of put off a little bit. Kind of like in The Boys. They had like dance scenes in The Boys too. And for some weird reason, it felt kind of forced on The Boys, so I just couldn't get into it. And but not saying that it made the episode bad. It was still a good episode, but it was just weird to see it and jarring. It kind of took me out of the story a little bit. With the dancing in Umbrella Academy in the first episode, it actually pulled me in even more. Like and it felt like it belonged. Um, and the way the writing of how the show is, because you you see they set you up in a world to where like that's not crazy, that's not unrealistic, you know, like yeah, shit like that will happen. you know, so the show makes it so that that scene works so well and seamlessly, and it just and you're just like, yeah, that would happen. I totally get it. I understand it. I'm down with this. And the and the thing is, they did Footloose, and I don't know if they took the steps from the movie Footloose, but it was just superb. I dug it, and for the rest of the season too, like everything worked well too. They brought in new characters. This little kid that was supposed to be posing as Diego's son, but turns out wasn't really his son in the end. They brought back Diego's crazy girlfriend, who was the assassin from season 2. Um, and and they did this arc with Allison that was it worked. Like it worked so well. She started off as the hero. She then all of a sudden um became the villain. And then at the end became the hero again, you know? But and but that was like the end of the climax of the last episode, and it wasn't the end. The end was just strange. The crazy thing is that they did that like the I don't know if they're ending it like that because I read into it and they don't know if they're gonna be doing a season 4. They, they proposed a season 4 to Netflix. The only thing is they haven't heard back from Netflix if they're actually gonna buy it and let them do a season 4, but they proposed it. So if they do get a season 4, I don't mind the ending so much. But if they ended like that, it just I don't know. It was not a great ending for me. And I don't know if it's the same way, the same story or same line of story that happened in the comics. I'm pretty sure it's not because I know that they followed the comics lightly but changed a lot of things. So I'm pretty sure it's not what happened in the comics. But the thing is at the end, everyone loses their powers, but everything goes back to normal. But the thing is you don't know if the sparrows are still around, if the sparrows still exist, because Ben is alive again, but he's the Ben that was with the sparrows. But the girl who was married to Luther is nowhere to be found, and she was a sparrow. And then everyone who was a sparrow is not there anymore. So what's the deal, you know? Like, do the sparrows exist? But Ben's there, and that's the Ben from Sparrows, because it's not the Ben that the old Ben that they knew. Because the old Ben that they knew was already dead. But they're all there, and everyone loses their powers. Luther loses his monkey body. Klaus can't see dead people anymore, or can't control spirits or anything anymore. Um, Victor can't use his whatever the power she has. You know, I don't know. Number 5 can't blip. Allison can't whisper, and another thing that made it confusing too was Allison got her kid back, and they already showed us that in like the first few seasons that her kid is half white, half black because the husband is white. So she gets her kid back, but then she also gets her husband that she married to in the second season, which was like in the past. I don't know how that works. I don't get it. You know, it makes no sense. Now, if they made it make sense, I wouldn't even care so much. If they made it make sense, I wouldn't care so much. But it just didn't make sense. They didn't make it make sense. They're putting they're putting two times together, two timelines together, and the kid is still the same looking kid, but now has two different parents or something. I don't know. You know, and the only reason why this whole thing happened was because the guy who played father just wanted his dead wife back. That was it. He went through all of that, destroying the world. Destroying the world 5 times in a row just to get his dead wife back. Is it like a story of like what things what are the things that you would do to get a true love back? I don't know. You know, and it's crazy because like why wouldn't he just say that to begin with? Maybe the Umbrella Academy and the Sparrows would have like went along with this plan. Maybe they would have helped him just cause if they actually knew the truth. Um, it's freaking wild. But besides that, besides the ending though, besides the ending being like weird and confusing and stuff like that, the rest of the season was amazing. Seeing the Sparrows Academy and the Umbrella Academy clash together was top notch. The fight scenes were freaking dope. Their power sets were amazing. You had Faye who controlled crows that formed out of her body, and she sees through the eyes of the crows. Like the crows were her eyes because she didn't have eyes herself. Ben is back with the octopus arms coming out of his body. Um, there was Alfonso where he kind of basically reverbed whatever gets hit onto him. So like if you punched him, it was like you were basically punching yourself. So whatever force you put onto him, that force goes back to you at the same spot where you punched him. So if you punch him in the nose with full power, you're getting full power punched to yourself in your own nose, which is like crazy. Like, I mean, that's a pretty crazy power set to have. Klaus, with the help of Father, actually figures out how to actually use his power, which I didn't even really know what his power was in the first two seasons, and then you find out what his powers is, and which makes it even freaking more amazing because now you know what his powers is, and you get to see him use his powers, but now you can't anymore because they lose all their powers, which is another reason why the ending kind of like soured me a little bit, right? Because you finally see what Klaus can do, and then it gets ripped away from him. Um, And then you had this girl, I don't remember the name of who she was, but she's part of the Sparrows. She spits venom, and the venom makes you hallucinate, and that's where that whole dance season. That's where that whole dance session came from, because she spat onto Diego, and Diego had this hallucination that instead of fighting, they were all having kind of this dance battle or something like that, which was pretty cool. Um, and then who else was there? Oh, they had like the spirit box guy. I don't know. And then the whole thing was that they had to stop because they made a crazy rift in the whole time continuum. Like supposedly um their parents got killed by a kid that they saved in the past. When he got older, he killed their parents before they were born, but because they were time traveling, it didn't really affect them yet. And because they don't really exist, they shouldn't exist, but they do exist. And that caused the rift in the whole time continuum, which caused like all these black holes to kind of like form together and is now destroying the whole existence. And they had to try to stop that in some way, which is like mind blowing. Like, how do you think about these things? And the thing is this whole story came from one guy, the singer of My Chemical Romance, Gerard Way. Of course, rewritten to be a live action by Steve Blackman, um, which is amazing. But even still, like, it's such a good story. I really really enjoyed it. Uh, I suggest if you guys haven't watched it, watch it. I would say just try to push through the first half of the first season, and it'll be a fun ride all the way till the end of third season. So besides the ending of the third season, the rest of the story is just top notch. The characters, the acting, which I gotta give a little props to this guy Aiden Gallagher who plays number five. He plays that character so well, playing an old man in a young boy's body, and he's a little kid, but he channels this old persona, old man persona into himself so well. I don't really know how old he is. He might be older than what he actually looks like. But still, though, you're playing an old man in a young boy's body. Played so well. Like, kudos to him. Um, and then seeing the love story of Luther, it was so great. Like, cause you followed him from the beginning. He was trying to get with Allison, but Allison breaks his heart, and all he wants is this love. And he actually finally finds her, and then he ends up getting killed. But then they save the world again, and he comes back to life. But one minute he comes back to life, his love is gone. They don't know where they went, or even if they even still exist. Which is another thing that kind of irks me with the whole ending thing. Because I kind of wanted Luther to kind of have his. I wanted Luther to have his ending. You know, and that's the other part of it too. That I so hope and wish they get a season 4. Is I want to see that resolution as well. I want a satisfied resolution, whether it be them being dead or them, you know, living, but make it satisfying if they're living. I mean, at least if they went the other way and they all died, then fine, they all die. Who cares, you know? I'd be okay with it. Like, and I'd be like, oh, the balls of these people killing off all their characters. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, it's gonna be good either way. But I just want a satisfying ending. I don't know why. I don't know what it is, but I just do. But still an amazing season, still an amazing show. The writing is just top notch. The storylines is great. The choreography is amazing. There's just not there's just nothing not much there not to love. Like I love the story. I love the show. Could do with a different ending, but the show in a full is great. So season 3 of Umbrella Academy, I'm gonna have to give a 9. Season 2, 9.5, almost perfect. Season 3, a 9. Broke p- took away one whole point just for the ending. Season 1, 8.5, just because I had to get through the first half to finish it out, to fall in love with it. I had to get through the first half to fall in love with the show. So, season 1, 8.5. There you go. Umbrella Academy. Go watch it. You will thank me. So that out of the way, let's get into Thor Love and Thunder. Otherwise, the Guns N' Roses Marvel movie. Like, I don't know what it is, but Taika Waititi loves like this 80s vibe, loves the 80s soundtrack, which I don't mind because I love the 80s myself. Which is why I love Stranger Things, which is why, I love anything that has to do with that nostalgic 80s vibe, 90s vibe. If you go 80s, 90s vibes with anything, I will watch it and I will like it. Um and I heard a lot of people talking trash about Thor Love and Thunder. But let me tell you what, people are just putting too much onto Marvel. You know? Like, give them a break. They've given you a decade of like good shit already. Just have fun with what they have now. And I think because I think that's what they're doing right now. They're just spending time having fun right now. I felt like Doctor Strange, um, Multiverse of Madness was just a romping good time. And if you just went in and just thinking like I'm just gonna have a good time watching this crazy ass freaking movie, you'll have a freaking good time. People are expecting Marvel just to be like, here's something groundbreaking and amazing. No, guys, just go have a good time. And I felt like that's what Thor Love and Thunder was. It was just there for you to have a good time. Yes, they catered more to the young kids. It's just like this was like Marvel for youngsters, but who cares? As long as you get to see Thor do his thing, as long as you get to see um the humor of Taika Waititi, I'm good, you know? And that was another thing too. A lot of people, I guess the thing is the humor of Taika Waititi doesn't hit everybody the same because before I even watched it, I watched a couple of reviews and they're like the humor was kind of weird. The jokes didn't really hit right. I was laughing through the whole movie. I thought the stuff they were doing was just hilarious. The goats were funny. The one line zingers were funny. Like I don't know. And not just that, but what's his name? Batman, who is now Gore the God Butcher. Like he was amazing. I love that character. I kind of wish that was the only thing is I kind of wish that they didn't kill him off because I would have loved to have him around a little bit longer. And then another gripe I had with it was that because in the comics, Gore the God Butcher, all his powers comes from the sword, the Necro sword, which was made from the beings of the symbiotes, which gives you the black suit Spider-Man and also gives you Venom. I wish they had went that way because I would have loved to just have them do Venom correctly. I just wish Sony would just let go of Spider-Man and give it to Marvel so Marvel could do everything correctly. Like I want to see Venom do. I want to see Venom be done correctly because the thing is, Venom was one of my favorite characters when I was young. Still is kind of. The thing is, those movies kind of ruined it a little bit, just because it was just so god awful. Like that's not Venom. That's some. I don't know what it is that, but that's not Venom. But if they were allowed to do it, because then you would have the symbiotes there. The symbiotes exist, and because I feel like Marvel is going towards the directions of Secret Wars, and if they are going to do Secret Wars, or I don't know if it's Secret Wars. I'm pretty sure it's Secret Wars, but that's where Spider-Man is supposed to get his black suit, and where they kind of separate, and then Venom gets made, or Venom becomes Venom. So I don't know. I feel like that was just something that was lost. But even with that, I still had a great time watching the movie because it was a fun time. Um, yes, it was lighthearted when it shouldn't be, but I don't care. In these states and times, I wanted more lightheartedness than anything else because I'm tired of just emotions. I guess I don't know what it is. Like tired. 'Cause if you want to feel bad and depressed, just turn on the freaking news and watch what's going on in the world, and you'd be like, "Oh my god, I'm sad and depressed already." So Thor was like the opposite of that. It was funny, it was fun, it was lighthearted, it was adventurous. Sure, there was like some scary parts in there with Gore the God Butcher, but it was shortly done. The stakes weren't really that high. Well, it almost went up there to being that high, but the stakes weren't really that high. Um, we did lose Jane Foster, um, but she was already done with Marvel anyways. So so be it. You know, she just wanted a last good hurrah, to kind of put her character to rest, and that's fine. And I think she went out like a champ. Like I was good with it. Um, so yeah, so I don't know. I enjoyed Thor Love and Thunder. It was a good, like, go to the movie theaters, buy some freaking nachos, get yourself a big old Coke, sit down, enjoy yourself type movie. It wasn't deep, it wasn't transformative or pushed a narrative or anything. It just was there and good. And although I do feel like if you actually watch it carefully, I think they are kind of setting up kind of a young Avengers or new young Avengers or new Avengers type thing. So um, but yeah, I loved it. It was good. It was a fun, good ride. So Thor: Love and Thunder. I'm gonna give that movie an 8 out of 10. There you go. Not as good as some of the others, better than most of Thor's other movies. I would say Ragnarok is top. Right below Ragnarok would be Thor Love and Thunder, and then the rest of his other movies are below there. Not as good as Captain America stuff. Um, not as good as like Endgame and stuff like that, but still mid-level fun, which is better than a lot of other stuff that's came out. You know, Like, 'cause there's some trash out there. Uh, but hey, don't take my word for it. If you want to go find out for yourself, go watch it. I implore you to go watch Thor: Love and Thunder. So, with that said, though, I think we'll just call it there. Because that's really all I wanted to do was just put out my thoughts on the Umbrella Academy and Thor Love and Thunder. And if anybody hears it, hey, just my opinion. If you guys think differently, that's on you. But, before I go out though, just remember, if you enjoyed this or if you want to see more or whatever, click that like, click that subscribe, tell a friend, go follow me on Twitch, catch me playing video games and stuff like that. Go follow my TikTok, you'll get other stuff there. And with that said, hey, Spider Gabe, you want to take us out, man?
Sure thing, dude. Let's go, everybody. Hey, we're gonna that's the end of this episode. But if you liked it, click that like and stuff, and we'll catch you guys all on the next one. We'll see you later. Deuces.
Deuces, everybody.